Kickstart Kenny with the W. This is the reaction show to Daytona. Wow, freaking incredible that you have Ken Roxon. It's got to be that factory transmission. It 1000% has to be that factory transmission where he finally has some factory parts, ironically, and he's able to get it done, or he's just smooth. I did not expect him to go from, catching Cooper Webb to passing him to winning the race, because truthfully, Cooper Webb was going backwards, and then all of a sudden he saw an orange fender and then decided to just wash the hammer down, and that was incredible. And if you guys watched my track preview, you know that I didn't think Kenny was going to win, and I said that Sexton had to freaking come home with the W, and instead he comes home with another regret. Like, truthfully, this guy does better when he almost starts backwards and lets everyone go, and then he's got no pressure, and then he's able to throw down. This seemed like a little bit of a abnormality when it came to what was going on, because it was his race to freaking lose. He came from 12th to basically all over Kenny and Coop's ass, and then went backwards. And he, to me, is probably the fittest rider on the circuit. And so it had to have been a bike malfunction. There had to have been something. I don't know if he was stuck in a gear because he was taking his corners difficultly, where he just looked slow all of a sudden by his corners, and he let these guys come back up, and he lost points again on Cooper Webb, right? Which is just a bummer, which he should have won. Sexton should have won this race. So now, as opposed to a championship contender talking about Sexton, now we got to be throwing the inertia to Ken Roxon, because this SOB has multiple podiums and now has a win under his belt. And also the dude that normally beats him with like a 1/10 of a second left to go, Cooper Webb, he ran through him and beat him, right? And Webb was trying so hard to keep up with Kenny that he made a couple magnificent mistakes, which is not like Webb. And to me, this was a huge win for Cooper Webb to be able to get on the podium. If again, going back to that video, which most of those lines were correct, it was cool to see that. And Webb, this is major confidence boost for him too, that he is the man to beat. He's now got a sustainable lead on the majority of the field, which is good. And I hate to say this, but yeah, you guys are right about Sexton, which is crazy, dude. Like, this dude should win, but he didn't. And looking at what happened with his crash in the heat race, it looked like he should have been strong enough to hold on to that motorcycle, because it didn't look like his hands got ripped off the handlebars. Didn't look like the bike kicked his feet off the pegs. It just looked like he cased it hard and cased it with his front wheel, which is what you're supposed to do, and then ended up just nose diving the front end. Ironically, like James Stewart tucking the front end, which is something that goes synonymously to Sexton, is just making that mistake. I mean, and RJ is kind of the dude in the 250 class that does the same thing. And I hate being the guy that's saying this, because I'm a massive Chase fan, because usually he's pushing a rock uphill and he usually can get it done. But right now, I think this is an insurmountable type of a just backlash that's going on inside. Whatever is happening, he needs to change the program and somewhat start over, because he should not be able to perform when his back is against the wall. He should be able to perform when things are going well, right? But unfortunately, in his world, everything just doesn't seem to be going as to plan. And you got Kenny over there who's just, every time I've talked to him on the podium or what, he's just kind of like, yeah, like just chilling, right? I'm 30 years old. Like, yeah, we're just doing this stuff. And I got this yellow machine and got this factory transmission now, and things are going good. And he's winning, and he's a Daytona winner, which is effing crazy. And one thing that I should have pointed out that the track would have been eaten up more because these guys were running the MX-33. They were running the sand tire. And that's why these rhythms got so bad, is because of the sheer fact that that tire was just eating everything freaking up, and it made the rhythms really difficult. And Kenny, dude, I can't wait to show you guys some of the stuff that I saw. This dude was smooth as butter. Like the Pam spray is what I want to call Kenny. Is he's just was so smooth. The way he got around Coop and AP was crazy, and I didn't expect AP to be up front. I didn't expect Jason Anderson to be up front. I didn't expect AP to continue to stay up front. I didn't expect Jason Anderson to go from first to like seventh, right? And yeah, this guy knows what up. The bull turn was effing insane. And dude, gosh, Hill, one of the reasons why Justin Hill is qualifying so well is, I believe, at least when I was at Arlington last weekend, I was hearing that that team is renting factory parts from KTM. And we all know that KTM needs money, until they get their influx of the Baja J company and then also BMW buying them. So why not rent some of their factory ECUs or whatever to some other teams? And that's assuming, right? That's an assumption that that's what I think is going on, is there is some factory ECUs that are being rented by Team Tedder, because Team Tedder isn't noticeably to have these good of bikes, right? You've got an amazing talent of Justin Hill, but then for him to be getting the fastest qualifying time, and then this time I think he was third or fourth, it's got something to do with the parts. Nothing against the talent, right? He's there, but it is just the sheer fact that I believe those bikes are better. Just like Kenny, truthfully, that factory transmission, the question that I asked him during the pre-race press conference at Anaheim, what is different on the motorcycle? And that is it. That, and what is going on? It's something that he can just build off of and build off of and build off of. And now it's going to be a rivalry between Webb and Kenny, which they've had a massive rivalry for years now. So this is starting to play out like a fine dining novel, where you've got the dude that is fast but has to have kind of things work his way, and then you have the other dude that potentially is a little bit slower but has better racecraft or more confidence. So I think this is a good matchup. And then on the outside in, you've got third place battling for Sexton. Basically, I'm pretty, at this point, I'm thinking Sexton is going to land on the podium at Utah when this is all said and done with, just because of his mental lack of fortitude there. And it sucks to be saying that. He is the fastest SOB on a dirt bike at the moment, but for some reason, he cannot put it together when it matters, right? This is multiple weekends in a row. This guy should have a full race lead at this point. And it's unfortunate to say that, but, being a analyst, right? Being a critic, not a cynic, that is how I see it. It's something he can change, but at this point, that boulder is just getting bigger and bigger. And Sexton is a freaking tank, so he should be able to not have this sucker roll over. But now he's got to just roll out of the way, right, and then start slowly going up. Okay, and maybe we see something different from him. Maybe he decided, as opposed to just going for broke, because I was telling the people that are watching upstairs, like, hey, he's got to go for broke. He's got to win this. He absolutely has to win this race. He needs to have something to where he leaves this race not feeling regret. And after the heat race, it's 1000% regret. And so maybe did he phone it in? I'm truthfully thinking that there was something wrong with the dirt bike. Okay, he's either injured, which absolutely could happen, because he looked like he got knocked the fuck out after landing in the face of the triple with your head. Okay. or it was just bike issue. Those are the only two things that I can think of, right? And Kenny did make it up for Jet and Tomac not being there. 1000%. I agree for sure. And in this race, honestly, I give it up to Ricky Carmichael because that was a cool track. I mean, minus the 9 whoop rule, because Daytona with only 9 whoops was just as fast to jump as it was to skim, which was a bummer, which just super, super unfortunate. But if I have to switch a little bit to the 250 class, my boy Tom, man, Heat 1 winner, wins by 7 seconds, then ends up on the podium. That is a good change of the guard, but if you're comparing to last year, he did win last year. But again, comparison is the theft of joy. So you really can't freaking compare to last year. I think this is good momentum for him. And Max got effing lucky from that red flag. The last red flag was 7 seconds to go, got robbed. This time he got a gift, right? Where he was about 15 seconds behind everybody in like 13th place. And then now all of a sudden he's tight niched. And the dude that was basically beating him in the championship is not beating him, but close to him, ended up having the pro circuit curse. I don't know what it is about that bike. McAdoo needs to go get his ACL fixed and get healed and healthy, because we know he's fast. He's obviously proven that he's tough as nails, but dude, just go get fixed. I know you, who knows? Does he need a paycheck? Does he need a ride? What's going on? Just get fixed, come back. You'll be much better. The viewers will understand. Will absolutely understand. Levi, I was telling people at the TV, I was like, dude, this lip, how fast they are hitting it. They have to lean way back to soak it up to keep the ass end from kicking. And then what did Levi do? Just a little bit too much front wheel over it. Boom, sends him off. And he just freaking goes out like he's had 12 bottles of whiskey and he's just not moving. I do give it up to the Asterisk Medical crew, where they're putting pretty much everything on a backboard now, and they are red flagging the race. In years previous, I don't believe they would have done that as often, but it's been 3 races for that East Coast, and there's already been red flags at 2 of them, which is it's just crazy how many guys are getting hurt. It shows what sort of risk these guys are taking. And I truthfully, I think that MX-33, that tire is not the best tire, even in moto. I'm being I'm not. The irony is it's a better tire, but in practice, it's tearing up the tracks. And these guys already have 450s with 80 effing horsepower. They don't need a tire that's going to tear stuff all the way down to the floorboards. Okay, those tires should be for Baja and Southwick, and that's it. But you see those guys use it too much. And for the Nationals, we're going to see these guys run the MX-33 or the freaking sand paddle tire the entire time, right? And so I will move on from this, Chad. I will move on from this, okay? So it's a bummer for Levi. He had a gift with the first red flag, the second red flag, unfortunately, he caused it. And for RJ, super pumped that RJ ended up coming out on top, because he's pretty much he's Sexton Jr. in the 250 class, even though he's older than Sexton, ironically. It's funny how that works, that Sexton's in his 20s and RJ's in his 30s, but yet one guy's in the 450 class, one guy's in the 250 class. Okay, Chad, now you can tell me I'm digressing, because I'm freaking digressing. But RJ has thrown it away multiple times before, which is unfreaking fortunate. But no, this was a fast reaction show. And guys, make sure you hit that subscribe and notification icon, because it's going to be coming to you fast this week. There's got some good news. I've got pages and pages on stuff written on my iPad. And yes, I was supposed to go to Daytona this weekend, but at the last second, I told Feld, like, hey guys, sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it, because, I had a baby appointment, and yes, my wife is 12 weeks pregnant. Got to hear the heartbeat for the first time. So I couldn't miss that, it's priorities, right? But anyway, maybe that's a little bit too much on my life. Till next time, keep it WFO.